In this introductory video on tropical cyclones, we will have a look at its general characteristics as well as the areas of formation and associated terms in different parts of the world. Tropical cyclones are severe tropical storms that are characterized by intense low pressure at its center, heavy or torrential rainfall, extremely strong winds, storm surges along the coastline, and all of this extreme weather often creates widespread damage to infrastructure, and there is the associated loss of life. It is important to remember that because we are dealing with a cyclone, the focus of air around the center is in a clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere, as well as some converging air towards the center of the tropical cyclone. The tropical cyclone can be identified on a synoptic weather map by a number of defining characteristics. Firstly, at the center of the tropical cyclone, there is a symbol for the eye, accompanied by the name of the tropical cyclone. The air pressure at the center of the tropical cyclone is intensely low, in this case below 996 hectopascal. The isobars indicating the air pressure around the center often have a circular formation. So we have the eye at the center, accompanied by the name of the tropical cyclone. The pressure at the center is well below 1000 hectopascal, and the isobars are often circular. It is important to note the different ways in which the symbol for the eye is represented in the southern hemisphere and the way in which it could possibly be presented in the northern hemisphere. Remembering that this is a cyclone with the lowest pressure found at the center in the southern hemisphere, the rotation of the air is in a clockwise direction, converging into the center. So the symbol for the eye needs to be drawn in this fashion, where this part of the eye represents the clockwise rotation and converges into the center, as well as the section below. In the northern hemisphere, the air still converges, but the rotation is in an anti-clockwise direction, and so that is what these little markings or these little horns then represent, the fact that the air is circulating in an anti-clockwise direction, but still converging onto the center. Tropical cyclones occur between 5 degrees and 30 degrees north and south of the equator, over warm tropical oceans with an ocean temperature of at least 26 degrees Celsius, and this often on the eastern side of continents that coincides with your warmer ocean currents. Tropical cyclones only occur during late summer and early autumn. This again is an indicator of whether or not a synoptic weather map is a summer map or winter map. As soon as a tropical cyclone appears on a synoptic weather map, that is another indicator that the map represents summer situation. Tropical cyclones travel from east to west away from the equator. They curve back eastwards once they reach land at around 20 to 30 degrees north and south of the equator. These tropical cyclones move from east to west because they are driven by the tropical easterly winds that blow within that band on the Earth's surface. Just of interest's sake, why tropical cyclones don't occur within 5 degrees of the equator, because one condition for its formation is the presence of the Coriolis force, and within 5 degrees north and 5 degrees south of the equator, the Coriolis force is at its weakest, and in general it is almost non-existent. There are two parts to the structure of the tropical cyclone. The very center of the tropical cyclone is called the eye, and the area or the band of clouds surrounding the center is called the eye wall, but can also be called the vortex. It is important to remember the type of weather that is experienced at the eye as well as the eye wall. At the eye, we find that there is no wind, no rain, and no clouds whatsoever. The area surrounding the eye, which we call the eye wall or the vortex, is characterized by massive cumulonimbus clouds. And from these clouds, we have heavy rain falling that is accompanied by thunderstorms. And this is also where your strongest winds are experienced. So at the eye, strangely enough, no wind, no rain, no cloud, very, very calm conditions. However, at the vortex or the eye hole, we have the formation of these massive cumulonimbus clouds that do produce rain and thunder, and strong winds then are found in the vicinity of your eye wall or your vortex. Tropical cyclones are given different names depending on which part of the world they occur. Over the Indian Ocean and in and around Australia, we call them, these weather systems, we call them tropical cyclones. If these weather systems occur over North America, they are called hurricanes, but they are called typhoons over Southeast Asian places like Japan and the Philippines in China. So very important to remember that although we are speaking about the same weather system, depending on where they occur, they will then be given a different name. Over the Indian Ocean, we call them tropical cyclones. Over Southeast Asia, they are called typhoons. And in North America, they are called hurricanes. Every tropical cyclone or every tropical storm for that matter is often given a name. The name is significant in that the first letter in the name of a cyclone, for example, Cyclone Helene, is an indication of how many tropical cyclones have occurred for that particular season. In the case of Helene, E is the fifth letter of the alphabet, and therefore, because E is the fifth letter of the alphabet, it goes without saying that Helene was therefore the fifth cyclone of the cyclone season over the Indian Ocean. So once the sixth cyclone develops, the name will then start with the next letter in the alphabet, which is F. Just of interest sake, if you are asked how many have preceded Helene, the question wants to know how many have gone before Cyclone Helene, and in that instance you would then say there have been 4 that have preceded. However, Helene is the fifth one.